communication with them. We have provided counseling as well. Of course, knowing that we must now empower our Hindus, and in keeping with our objective of self-sustaining Hindus, we have recently embarked and launched our Go Green Gardens project, nationally headed by our very able Anchal Ashi Baniprasad. We are pleased many Hindus are inquiring about it, and as a result, teams are going ahead advising people how to go about preparing the soil and starting small, medium to large vegetable gardens. People are encouraged to grow vegetables to sustain themselves and also to sell to others in order to become economically sustainable. Lastly, we have embarked on a building project, a Hindu Social Seva Center in Clear State, to house our ongoing programs. Example, the National Hindu Leadership Academy, for the purposes of training more and more Hindus to become Karyakartas or Hindu workers. The need of the hour is for all our Hindu organizations to produce hundreds of Hindu workers to go out and do the work. Women empowerment is part of our ongoing leadership program. A garland of lights will be leading up to a special Diwali this year, as it is significant to record that it marks 160 years since our ancestors arrived on the shores of our beautiful country, South Africa. We want to pay tribute to various individuals and organizations on their contributions over the years and to bring us where we are today. As Swami Vivekananda once said, Raju Bhaya, who was a fourth RS Supremo, once said, if we can't give all of our time, then at least we should give some of our time. And our very own Swami Vigyananji, International Head of Vishwa Hindu Parishad, declared, Hindus must display visibility, acceptability, and respectability. Namaste.
Thank you, Praveshji. Thank you very much. I must say that it's commendable that the organization has undertaken so many different projects in a short space of time, and we wish you and your team the very best. I have to move on because of the time factor, so I really want to implore everybody to try and keep to time because of the limitations that we have. I think we have a phenomenal range of guests today, and I really would like to welcome each and every one of you to today's program. Next up is Vishwa Shakti. I have introduced Kamalji a little bit earlier, but I will do so again. Kamal Maharaj has been the pioneer in terms of establishing the Vishwa Shakti newspaper, but also in creating the opportunity for stories to be told from the Hindu community. He's also been involved in training projects and most importantly in youth and women development. He and his family have become symbols of hope and courage in the KwaZulu-Natal area in recent times, where they provided food for the hungry and the destitute. Their motto is also Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the entire world is one family. So I'd like to hand over to Kamalji to share a little bit about the organization and the Seva programs. Namaste.
Salam to all. Namaste, Vanakkam, Namaskaram. Yeah, the Vishwa Shakti is inspired by the various organizations across the globe, mainly organizations that we know from our ancient masters, from our ancient gurus. And the idea of Seva is not a foreign term to our culture or to the culture of the world. You find that the need to market and to let people know, to give them feedback, was probably one of the areas which was not focused upon. And I'm glad that this Dharma Sansad, where the concept is Dharma, the Seva Paramo Dharma, that Seva is one of the highest forms of Dharma, is now being projected. And many people complain, I cannot do meditation, I cannot get onto my daily sadhana. But one of the reasons is that we first need to connect with the world around us. And one of the ways is to help those who need. If I have a little extra, it's a good idea to give to others. automatically the connection comes, and that seva builds that deeper connection, and my meditation, my dhyan, my sadhanas improve. So you can see immediately the self is an extension of the world. And when we are able to realize this, then only can we start to make progress. The idea of excluding people, the idea of building seva concepts or ideas on exclusive ways is actually sending the world into difficult situation. You'll find that some would do seva but would make sure that they use a religious leaning, or they would only employ in the seva organizations people of a particular religion. Now that itself immediately goes against the idea of seva. Seva means to help everyone. And we had a beautiful experience once. We were driving around and we were asked to do seva in a particular area. And as we drove to that area, we wondered, do people actually live here? Because there's no road. But we continued driving according to the directions of the people. And behind the long grass and bushes and a little bit of a jungle, we came across homes. And mind you, very dedicated people with tikas, sindoor, a little puja place, struggling, would virtually unnoticed from the community. And then we realized that we needed to reach out. And that was one of the starting points some years back. And we started to reach out with various projects in terms of feeding, in terms of groceries, women sanitary items. All these became part of our project. As we found the need, we started to get involved in those areas. And one of the things we learned is that you got to build bridges with your fellow organizations. It makes your work easier. When you work together, you can do so much more. And we found that we helped each other. They would send us a message in an area where we were stronger, and we would distribute according to their direction. And they would do the same. And eventually, this building of bridges, not working in silos, removing the ego, and getting down to what we need to do. At the same time, we are able to make people have a higher self-esteem, whether from a religious perspective or not. So people would not take advantage of them. That was one of the uh, good feedback that we got. People said, now I don't have to beg somebody, because you would get somebody and say, listen, I'll give you a plate of food, but you must take all your religious items and throw it away. Now, there's no need to do that. If you're hungry, if a person is hungry, give them food. And I remember just about 2 weeks ago, we went to an area, and we saw this. We drove in, and as we drove in, a whole host of children began to run behind a car. I mean, no, I only experienced that, to be fair, in India, in our rural village, where people came to see us, mainly because they heard we from Africa. But yeah, the children straightway knew that we had come to distribute food. And as we gave them the food, they sat down the same place and they were eating. And the smiles on the face really made us feel good. And
Wow.
I think
I
so.
think that's amazing and very inspiring, Kamalji, to
Yes,
note that in South Africa we have such poor communities.
all around us, and sometimes we don't even know that. Just like most countries, they're pushed away, and the mainstream is happening in the middle somewhere, and we all think everything is going on well. And then what we try to do, we do seva right next to us, where they don't really need the seva, but that's what we do. But if you drive a little, just about 3 to 4 kilometers out into the outskirts, you'll find the people. And this happens throughout the world. Seva is
Wow.
this expression. Seva is this expression of our inner being. And that extension, that feeling to go out there and to help others, is not from a point of an ego. It's not from a point of I need to help others. We are actually growing ourselves. We are actually making ourselves better people. They are giving us the opportunity. And when we make them stronger, we automatically grow. And there is this saying always, when you help a fellow being, you automatically get helped. And this is what it is about. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kamalji. And that was truly inspirational. What it showed now, I think, during the COVID situation is that many, many families are in need. It doesn't matter that they are, from the poorer communities that we normally would do Seva in the country, but it's actually happening to everyone around us. So Seva knows no color, it knows no boundary, and it is up to us to exercise this unity in consciousness in order to be able to reflect the assistance that we can do to others. There's a little video I know that Vishwa Shakti had sent. So maybe let's watch a little bit of that. I am wary of the fact that the WHF did send a video and we will play it a little later. So after the video, I would like to then go to Mehul Desai from the BAP Swaminarayan Sanstha. So just to be in. Thank you so much. I think that was absolutely inspiring. Our next guest is Mehul Desai, and he's from the BAP Swaminarayan Sanstha. Nobody needs more of an introduction, I think, than Mehul Bhai, because he's known actually everywhere in the country. He's traveled extensively, and he's also been involved with different types of seva. In fact, we know him personally because he's been involved with when Honorable Prime Minister of India came to South Africa. He's been very much involved with other types of community activities. But more than that, I think the Swaminarayan Sanstha has recognized not only the development of individuals at a spiritual level, but rather taking into account the whole of humanity. And Pramukh Swami Maharaj's sayings have always been based on one's duty, one's kartavya. What is our duty? So, in that sense, I think it's a good lead on to have Mehul Bhai share with us some of the activities of the Swaminarayan Sanstha, and also to alert our viewers that a beautiful mandir is going to be built in South Africa, in Johannesburg, very soon. And it's going to be really one of the most important experiences for a Hindu. And why is that? Because temples become a space for confidence. Temples become a space to uplift society. And temples become a space to give us hope and courage. So having said that, Mehul Bhai, please go ahead and share with us some of the important activities that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yashika ji. Namaste, Jai Swaminarayan. And to all our fellow religious leaders, namaste to all of you and to the community. Today, when we speak about Seva, just to add on what the other religious guests and leaders have already shed light upon, in Sanskrit, there is a saying, Seva dharmo parama gahano yoginam apyagamyaha. That seva, the true depth of seva, it is not understood even by the great yogis. So seva, when we talk about it, usually we talk from the stance of paropkar, doing a favor to someone. But in its essence, seva is not a favor. Seva dharmo parama gahano. Seva is your fundamental dharma. And dharma we define as your duty, because we are all part of the human family, and we are all part of this universe, integral pieces of this entire universe. It is each of our duties towards the rest of the universe, towards the rest of humanity, to help, to serve. So we should see seva as a dharma, as our duty, and not as a favor, not as a upkar. We are not doing a favor to anyone, as our previous speaker had said, that actually you are gaining a depth understanding of your own self. Actually, you are going closer to God, closer to divinity by doing seva. So, seva as a concept is much discussed and practiced, but it's essential, it's fundamental. Where do we see it? How can we understand it? And one way to understand the depth of seva, it is to look at the life and the work of great sevaks, great gurus, great leaders of our Vedic tradition. And one of them, as Yashika ji has mentioned, is His Divine Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, whose centenary we celebrate next year. And his entire life of 95 years has been one continuous seva. How can I help others? How can I be of use to others? How can I be a cause of happiness to others? And therefore, his life message is summarized in the sentence, in the joy of others lies our own. Right now, when the corona pandemic has hit the entire human race, BAPS and its Seva section, BAPS Charities, has followed in that line of Pramukh Swami Maharaj's vision of in the joy of others lies our own. When such a pandemic hits the entire humanity, it is only instinct that each person first thinks about his own welfare. But Seva teaches us that one is not an individual, one is part of a society. And therefore, in all the branches of BAPS all around the world and in South Africa, every volunteer was inspired to help those around, those in need. Now, thousands of volunteers during a time of lockdown, and when there is great health risk, when they all come out onto the street to go and distribute food, or to go and distribute sanitary food hampers, hot meals, then that is a spirit of seva, of dharma, seva dharma. One thing that was very heartwarming, and everyone who has an attachment towards Sanatan Dharma will find this one point very heartwarming. We all do seva, but in this time of great need, the sevaks, they were all youths. They were aged 25 to 40. There was no 50 and 50 plus, because they were not allowed due to health reasons. There was no kids involved. This was the youth force of Hinduism working on the streets, helping, and the other section of society which was serving was the 1,200 Swamis of BAPS. Internationally, the Swamis have been involved in making those food packets, in cooking themselves, and making parcels. And one beautiful thing which the Swamis did in South Africa, two Swamis are, although they are based in Nairobi, but they are allocated to do the Vitran or the travel in South Africa. But during this lockdown time, they were not able to come, but they were still a part of us. In which way? They offered the emotional support to 860 families. They made regular phone calls and
Wow.
uh, asked for their welfare and prayed at each of these houses.
Wow.
And the
That's
sadhus feel,
beautiful.
yeah, Pramukh Swami Maharaj's message was that don't go to people's houses when they are happy. Go to their house when they are sad and they are in need. And really, our Swamis did one great deal of work, which I know people had tears in their eyes. That during this time of great need, when there is so much financial insecurity, uh, physical health wise, there is so much of uncertainty, and the Swamis would phone and say, "Let us pray for you. Here I am in the temple. I am doing abhishekam for you." And that person, his heart is warmed, his life is renewed, rejuvenated. So this is
Wow.
some of the work which was done recently. I know Yashika ji mentioned the mandir. We'll discuss that on another day when there's some time. But that will also be a spirit of service. Each person is going to give of himself, physical labor, mental effort, and financial. And it's going to be the youth, and it's going to be for the youth, for the next generation of Hinduism, so that every Hindu in South Africa and in Africa itself, every Hindu can say with pride that we have a monumental temple in Randburg, and that is our Hindu pride.
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Mehubai. You know, we can go on and on hearing beautiful stories from everyone, and I know we have a limited time frame, but it just goes to show that the spiritual nature of the organizations, the people, the devotees imbibe that from their spiritual teachers. And I'd like, before we go to the next speaker, to play a little video of the Bap Swaminarayan because I believe it's ready. And the next speaker to come up will be Sri Vishnu Mudli, who is from the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization. So please be in readiness. Thank you so much. That was very inspiring, and I think it shows the value of Seva and the variety of the types of Seva that different organizations can do. It's all about collective consciousness from one person to another. It's just like when we celebrate Deepavali, one light illuminates an entire room that's dark. And if you take several lights, it illuminates a house, and more, it illuminates a society and then the rest of the world. And these are beautifully put by our sages and masters. I'd like to now go to Sri Vishnu Mudli, who is the chairperson of the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization in South Africa. He's been involved with Seva work for many, many years. And everyone, is aware whenever there's a need in the country, they'll just say, phone Sai organization, because their devotees have been trained and disciplined to respond almost immediately. There is no hesitation when it comes to Seva activity. And part of the work of the Satya Sai Seva organization has been character development and schools in the country. In fact, it will take some more other programs for us to even talk about the various human education in human values schools. But education in human values isn't just about studying. It's about the development of the individual. And the divine or Bhagwan wants us to grow and to become super citizens. So with that in mind, I'd like to hand over to Sri Vishnu Mudli to share with us some of the activities of the Satya Sai organization in the country. Thank you very much for joining us. Sai Ram. Your mic is muted, Bhai. We can't hear you, your mic. It's still muted. Your mic is still muted. Maybe we can just check your technical, your sound. Maybe while we wait, I just wanted to share a few things. Because of the time factor, I'm going to proceed now to go to the Hindu Coordinating Council of Johannesburg. We'll pick up on Brother Vishnu just now in a few minutes. I've just been told that there is a technical issue with the mic. So maybe we'd come back to Sri Vishnu just now. Ishara Ben, are you on standby?
I am. Namaste, everybody.
Namaste, Ishara Ben. Ishara Ben is the Vice Chairperson of the Hindu Coordinating Council of Johannesburg, and I would like her to share with us some of the work that's been involved with the HCC. Just to say that the Hindu Coordinating Council was formed after the World Hindu Conference in Durban that took place, over 30 years ago. And it was so important for the value and the vision of unity to come into the fold. And today, the HCC stands as a testimony of pride in bringing together Hindus of different organizations together. So welcome, Ishara Ben, and share with us some of the wonderful work that you've been doing.
Namaste and Vanakkam and to all the listeners. Thank you, Yashika Ben, to give me the opportunity. Yashika Ben, yes, HCC was formed on the 1st of May, 1993. And yes, well, I'm on board for the last 11 years now with HCC. And believe me, the work that we have done thus far is extremely beautiful. And, HCC has major functions, and that is the Shiv Yatra, that which happens in the beginning of the year, and that's in February, every year in Feb, right? So what happens there, we get affiliated with all our different organizations in Lenasia and in Lenasia South. And we have the most beautiful yatra where we have a different affiliate starting off the yatra, and we have all the different types of floats and all the different temples that come on board, and they help us to have this beautiful function as well. And thereafter, we have the Diwali festival, where we have it between October and November, where we have all the different youth, different culture that comes on board and come and give us beautiful dancers, singers, and and people. We actually do it for the poor as well, the people that cannot afford to have fireworks and stuff. So we actually pull a fantastic crowd on that day. And Yashika Ben, this two major functions is held with HCC, be it the Yatra, be it the Diwali festival. And, we try to promote the youth, where the youth has to come on board and come and try and help us. And amazingly, the HCC had a lot of members. As the years went by, the members became less and the older, so now we have just 10 members that, they are on board, trying to have everybody, ready. So what I'm saying is that anybody that wants to come and join the HCC, they are most welcome to come and join us. And there is, the time is limited as well. So whoever's ready, they can most definitely come and join us. Now, with all the paramedics that happened now, we are actually having a wonderful food hamper drive. So far, we have did over 500 hampers so far, feeding everybody, feeding all our homeless people and going out and seeing to everybody. And the most important thing is that, it actually teaches us in this time that how important is for everybody to be working together and coming and standing together and helping every single person now with HCC. And also, yes, I also part of the Sanatan Vedram Sabha, which we are also based in Lenasia in 33 Penguin Street in Extension 1. And the Sri Vishnu Mandir has the temple, right? And because of whatever is happening, the next biggest function that we're going to have now is Navaratri. Now, because of everything is happening, we're going to be going through, with the live stream as Facebook. So as the time comes closer, we are going to be giving our timetables and stuff, for everybody to join us regarding our Navaratri festival. And yes, we also have our satsangs, that's every Tuesdays. We were all on board till the virus happened, and now everybody is at home. And yes, we do have our Facebook and live stream. All our functions was on live stream as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That sounds phenomenal, and it also shows that when the community comes together, there's unity of purpose, and when there's unity of purpose, it says that there's a single consciousness that brings us all together. And I think that is what the values of our tradition has taught us. And it's through you, Ben, and people, from the HCC that has made the Hindu community stronger in the Gauteng area. And we really must applaud your efforts for that. I'd like now to maybe go to the video that you've so beautifully put together at short notice at that. And just for everyone to share some of the color and vibrancy that comes from the Hindu Coordinating Council. I know Kishore Bhai is not here, and we wish him well, and we wish all of you well also. I believe that Vishnu Bhai is ready. So after the video, we'll go straight to Vishnu Bhai. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much. And we really, really appreciate that video. We're now ready to listen to Sri Vishnu Mudli from the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization. Om Sai Ram and welcome to the program.
Saram, sister. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yes,
We'd love to hear more about the organization and the activities that the Satya Sai organization does. And we're so happy that you are here to join with us today.
Thank you. I'd like to start off by offering my prayerful and loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of my beloved master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Respected elders, sisters and brothers, I offer my loving sairams to each and every one of you this evening. I want to thank the World Hindu Foundation for according us this opportunity to congregate on this common platform here to share our experiences in the spiritual field. I must start off by saying that I'm really humbled by the presenters so far and the wonderful work that is going on in the various organizations in South Africa. It is really heartwarming. By way of introduction, you know my name. I am the National Council President of the Satya Sai International Organization here in South Africa, and we are part of the Satya Sai International Organization, which has its base in Puttaparthi in the south of India. As a point of introduction, our organization was previously called the Satya Sai Seva Organization, but it's now the Satya Sai International Organization. Seva is one of the focal points of the activities of our organization, and this comes in addition to the various educational and spiritual activities that form the basis of the organization. And our inspiration and our energy we receive from our Divine Master himself, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Satya Sai Baba had clearly stated at a very young age in his physical sojourn on earth that he is not a Nayaka who is a leader. Instead, he is a Sevaka, which is a servitor. And he further stated that he not only served those who worshipped him, but the entire mankind. And as we all know, this love had extended way beyond the parameters of mankind and extended to all of creation. For eons, he'd been translating his words into deeds, and the helpless, the poor, the sick, and other seekers thronged Prashanti Nilayam, and Swami had showered his love and nurtured all by way of Narayana Seva in the form of free distribution of food, clothing, medical treatment, medical supplies, educational facilities, etc. Swami often said, and I quote, "If you start giving spiritual advice to a person who is starving, what is the use?" Unquote. It is therefore verily on this basis that the entire Satya Sai International Organization is based. The Seva extends to all facets of life and has no limitations. For as long as the need exists, Seva is done. And all that is required from the devotees is to say a big yes, and the rest will follow automatically. Swami had also instilled in mankind the understanding of the unity in diversity and the one uniting force, which is the Atmic reality, which is ever present in all of creation. And it is within this context of this understanding that we as the devotees in South Africa embark on all benevolent and charitable activities to the extent that we are able to do so. I think I need to pause and just state here that as all of you would know, we are strictly prohibited from raising any funds from the general public, and whatever comes in the way of cash or kind donations come from devotees themselves, selflessly from their hearts. The COVID pandemic had brought with it huge waves of unemployment, starvation, poverty, and a host of uncertainties and suffering across the globe. And South Africa was no exception. As we still grapple with this novel disease, people continue to be afflicted. As an organization based on the principles of love and service, we were unable to sit back in complacency and accept the state of affairs. The organization responded very positively to the situation with a great deal of enthusiasm, energy, and love for the forlorn and the downtrodden. I may add that Seva also extended to the pets and animals during the winter months in the form of food and blankets. The organization was involved in the distribution of food hampers, face masks, drinking water, maize meal, and at a later stage, this also extended to cooked meals, which were being distributed and continue to date. The international organization had also responded to the needs of South Africa, and they wholeheartedly sent a container of grain and other food items to South Africa to be distributed to its people. The container carries 19 tons of food, items such as millet, beans, palm oil, and rice, and the distribution will commence in earnest by tomorrow. We're happy to report that as of just the other day, we finally received clearance, and we are well on the way to distribution, which will commence tomorrow. Our organization thrives on the principle.
That's phenomenal, Vishnubai. It's absolutely phenomenal. So it's now cleared and it'll be in the country tomorrow.
Well, it's already here. So we've got the clearance and the distribution is commencing tomorrow. The first area of need where we're sending the goods to will be the Eastern and the Western Cape, and then Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and other areas that have been afflicted. So that commences in earnest tomorrow.
That's absolutely brilliant. And I think what's very nice of what you're saying is that all the Seva organizations here, it's such I'm getting lovely comments coming from Facebook, etc. That wouldn't it be wonderful if we choose massive national Seva project and have everyone involved to assist this wonderful initiative? It'll be something really phenomenal. And the fact that it's coming from Bharat or India, that's amazing.
Absolutely, sister. And we thrive on the principle of selflessness and a keen understanding and appreciation of the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God. We are a universal organization. Swami says there's only one religion, and that's the religion of the heart and the love. And therefore, we will serve all that are in need, not any particular organization or sect of people. So this Seva extends to everyone, as I mentioned earlier, including pets and animals. And on a departing note, I thank you once again for allowing us this opportunity. Look forward to engaging again on a common platform. We have a little video that I very humbly request that be played. This will just showcase the Seva that was done by the organization during the COVID times. Thank you all, and Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram, thank you very much. We will play the video in a little while. I'm worried because of the time factor. So I'd like now to go to Raj Pillai, who is the new president of the South African Tamil movement. And Raj Pillai has been involved with Seva activities for many, many years of his life. He's a selfless worker in the community in terms of raising awareness in terms of culture and education in the country. Raj is here with us today to share a little bit about the new movement in the community. Previously, they were involved in different types of temple activities. He's also with the Parvati Shakti Alayam in Johannesburg. So, Brother Raj, are you here? I see there's a little bit of a technical difficulty. I'm going to ask our technical team. All right, I'm going to go now to another brother who is from the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And everybody knows them to be like the Hare Krishna movement. And we've heard some phenomenal stories, along the way, from the World Hindu Foundation to Vishwa Shakti, through Bap Swami Narayan, through HCC, etc., and to the Sai organization, in terms of the work that's being done and continually that will be done. And ISKCON is no different. They stand with the medal and the honor of having served a cumulative 3 billion meals. And this event was done and celebrated by none other than the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, last year, where the event was held in Uttar Pradesh, and it was also attended by the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Shri Yogi Adityanath. And everybody is very aware of the work that's been done, and with the recent case of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple being built. So India is striving, India is really understanding and pushing together its Seva-driven organizations. And ISKCON holds that honor. And we really thank you. And we are so honored and blessed with having the Hare Krishna movement in South Africa and globally. Over to you, Rohini Bai, to share with us more about the activities in South Africa.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's an honor, wonderful. Hare Krishna, able to hear me? As I was saying, it's my honor to hear these wonderful altruistic activities.
Your mic is a little problematic, Bhai. Do you want to just check it again? Haribol, can you hear me? All right, I'm going to actually go to a little video, and then we will come back to a brother from the Hare Krishna movement. I also see Raj Pillai on standby. Oh, thank you. Okay. Can we play the video of the that we missed, the World Hindu Foundation video, and then I'll come to Raj Pillai. Thank you so much. Is brother Rohini there from ISKCON? Are you back?
Is the sound now better?
Oh, much better. Thank you so much. And we must apologize.
Please
go ahead. Please go ahead, Haribol.
Yes, thank you very much. My apologies for the technical difficulty. As I was saying, I'm very glad to be on this platform and hearing about the wonderful altruistic activities of these wonderful organizations has been really heartwarming. I'm also deeply honored to represent our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, under whose strength and valor this movement has started and is now flourishing not only in South Africa, but in every continent and most countries across the world. Just to give you a little idea of our center, particularly in Midrand, we know that Midrand is becoming one of the most largest economic hubs in Southern Africa, and it's really a hustle and bustle. And many visitors and people take solace in the fact that we have a wonderful center nestled in Midrand, but in a wonderful corner that is so serene, and it's actually a spiritual sanctuary. Our temple is actually a preaching center, but in this temple we have a goshala where we house 2 cows, and we allow visitors to come in and offer this go seva. We also have the largest food relief kitchen in Gauteng region, which is known as our much well-known Food for Life organization, which was founded by Srila Prabhupada himself. And here in Midrand particularly, we are serving over thousands of plates of prasadam a week. It's absolutely wonderful to hear everyone speak about the seva, but I would just like to touch on the concept of seva from our Krishna consciousness philosophy. Though we acknowledge that it's so wonderful to help these souls out there who are suffering, and with the rampant increase, as we've seen, of the COVID-19 virus and the suffering that it's brought about, seva is much needed. But as it's explained in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, that the nature of the soul is to serve. It's innate within us to serve. But as one progresses up the yoga ladder, one comes to the point of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. And the point of the matter in this is that by serving God, not only does one serve mankind, but he serves everything at all. In the Brahma Samhita, it's described as Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Krishna is the original progenitor. He's the first living being. And from him, everything and everyone originates. Therefore, by watering the seed, the root of Krishna, everything else flourishes and becomes water. Not that we ignore the fact that there are needs for people to attend to. Definitely our society is based on this, but Srila Prabhupada has advised us that there are so many material problems. We are living in this age of Kali Yuga, where there's birth, death, old age, and disease. And our organization is founded on the fact that we have material problems, but only by spiritual solution can we make this world a better place. Having said that, all of our activities and seva is focused not only on giving material needs, but helping humanity at large to understand that we are not the body. The suffering that's caused by material world at large is the misconception of the body. Everyone is thinking that I'm the body. But Srila Prabhupada has very broadly explained, Aham Brahmasmi. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul, part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when one understands this principle, he's freed from suffering. Therefore, our seva activities are centered around the fact that we are giving not only Indian people, not only Hindu people, this concept of understanding this principle, but we are giving everyone at large the opportunity to take to the principle of Krishna consciousness, because when one understands that he is not the body, he's the spirit soul, he therefore engages in suitable practice and he can be freed from this activity. As I mentioned, we are not kind of oblivious to the fact that they're suffering. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has founded our Food for Life organization. Our Food for Life organization is centered around distributing not food, but prasadam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that one who eats food that's not offered to Lord Vishnu and sacrificed first, invariably only eats sin. Therefore, our Food for Life activity is centered around prasadam distribution. Not only are we helping thousands of hungry children in Midrand, but we are giving them the opportunity to come to Krishna consciousness, to come to understand, because if one takes one grain of Krishna prasadam, his sinful activities are eliminated. Just to conclude.
Absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful way of sharing the nature of prasadam, because I think for a Hindu, every aspect of the food is prayed. The agni that goes to make the food is part of the divine. The eating of the food is part of the divine. So everything is a divine engagement. Thank you so much for so beautifully sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just to
Thank
shortly
you.
conclude, I'd like to read a line from the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna explains.
Sure.
He explains to Arjuna, he says, "O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer, and all that you give away, as well as the austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me." So this is the center of our seva activities. I'd like to thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, thank you wonderfully. It was absolutely in backstage for a little bit. As we mentioned, Raj is from the South African Tamil movement. It's a brand new movement in the community, but he's not brand new to Seva. He's been involved with that for many, many years of his life, and he's also part of the Parvati Shakti Alayam in Johannesburg. Brother Raj, thank you so much. You've listened today to such beautiful talks from everyone in the community. Don't you think we have a phenomenal community? What do you feel?
Yes, definitely, Ashika. I am actually so glad to see everybody can come together and work in unity in providing for our fellow beings.
Absolutely. And from the Tamil movement and in terms of the community, what has been the role in terms of uplifting the community and developing character and also contributing to the ideals of Seva?
Okay, welcome once again to the listeners. Yashika, I know you're out of time, so I want to try to be very, very, very quick, ma'am. Okay, what I've noticed is that during this time of the COVID-19, we have noticed that all kind of cultures and religions have come together. Our headquarters and the base camp for our organization is the Sri Parvati Amma Kovil in Germiston. We've had different religion knocking at our door for assistance and help, and we have noticed that hunger does not have a difference among religion and culture. And we have never ever turned anyone with a different kind of religion at our base camp, the Sri Parvati Amma Kovil. We do not get public funding. It's been run by the temple, by the devotees. Now, the one thing that I've noticed is that although Seva can be done in many ways, for us, it was not only about providing food and PPEs and sanitizers to everyone. We did simple Seva like during this COVID-19, we found that we had death in the family and we have death in the community whereby people could not afford to do the last rites for the loved ones. And we assisted in that matter, like providing a little bit of funding and having a guru there and perhaps maybe assisting in the ceremony. That is also part of the seva. And we also need to keep in mind all those little things that we can do for our community. Now, as an organization, we also want to bring to the people. We are looking into like we've also found that funerals like in the community has become a burden, has become a very, very big burden. So as an organization, we want to bring together funding from our community and the devotees to perhaps maybe buy a hearse and maybe provide and take the burden of these people that maybe for a very minimum cost, or maybe sometimes maybe there might not be any cost, free of charge, that we can bury our loved ones. And this is very important in our society because it is seva. It is seva because, death is so sudden. And this COVID-19 has made us to realize no matter how much of money you have, no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, you will die. When he calls you, you will be gone. And this is the little things that we want to bring to the community. But also, I want to also make the listeners aware that we are not a religious organization. We want to do groundwork as such that if we have problems, perhaps like within your family, perhaps your children has gone on the wrong path, like doing drugs. We want those kind of people to contact us, and we can direct you people in the right lane, because we have social workers, we have the SAP, we have psychologists that are working closely with us, and we can provide this kind of services to our community. So as much as a lot of organizations is concentrating about serving the poor, I'm also up for that. But we need to also look at other things that our community needs. So we are looking in all those lines. Thank you, Vanakam Yashika.
Thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time and your patience
Yes,
today. So it was fantastic, and I think bereavement is one area that a lot of people need support right now. And every family is being affected by COVID-19. We should not take the levels of lockdown for granted. I think it's very critical that Hindus do consider counseling and that type of support. Thank you, Brother Raj. We have finally with us in studio is our brother from the Transvaal Andhra Sabha. And I know that the timing is very, very tight, but we'd really like our brother to share with us some of the work that the Transvaal Andhra Sabha has been doing. In fact, they're an organization that has started here for many, many years. They're affiliated to the Andhra Mahasabha of South Africa, and they also have been involved with many types of Seva work in Gauteng, as well as the Ram Bhajan. And to share with us more about what that is, I have our brother with us today. Is our brother here, or is there a technical difficulty, Ram Naidu?
Today, Yashika, can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Hello.
Namaskaram.
Yes.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Mr. Vanakkam, and Om Salam to one and all of you. Thank you very much for requesting me to say a few words. Transvaal Andhra Sabha was formed in July 1986. So we are formed here in Lenasia South, Gauteng. So we are an affiliate to Andhra Mahasabha of South Africa, who celebrates 89 years this year. Transvaal Andhra Sabha was purchased in 1990. It purchased a property in 1990, and since then it has erected a building and a temple. And I think praise goes to all the adults and our ancestors who actually formed this organization. I'm still one of the 9th member who was part of the organization, and I'm still the only member who's part of this organization. Over the years, it was a tedious task to build an organization, or the only Telugu organization in Gauteng at the time. Today we have 2 other branch sabhas, which is called Midran Andhra Sabha and the Central Andhra Sabha, which was recently formed during COVID. And I want to say praise to all the organizations that we listen today to, who is doing sterling work in the country to promote Seva functions and Seva activities. I think it's a phenomenal job that we as Hindus are doing collectively, because if you're looking at all our as Hindus, we do we serve to the less fortunate, and the less fortunate is the masses in the country. And I want to say, well done. I think in our organization we also do the same thing, but a lot of people do it in their individual capacities. We assist organizations like the Science Center, Food for Life. We do all those, and then if there's calling from other organizations, we will go to them as well and we'll assist them. The Transvaal Andhra Sabha, back to Ram Bhajans, it is the period in which we are celebrating. It's a prayer time. It's to Lord Rama. We celebrate the bountiful, and it's like the Thanksgiving that we say to him for the bountiful that we have. And Ram Bhajan has been now hosted at Transvaal Andhra Sabha for the last 23 years. This year on Saturday we'll be hosting the Ram Bhajan, hosted by the Central Andhra Sabha, which is a brand new organization, and that is going to be hosted on Facebook. There's 3 Facebooks that it will be hosted on the Andhra Mahasabha of South Africa. Thankfully, we have Shamain, who is the engineer there. We have SA COVID, who has done an exceptional job during this lockdown period, and they brought home to all the homes about 860 versions of presentation that they had during COVID period, and they presented it on a very high note. And we want to say to
That's
Chris,
phenomenal.
yes, when I say Krishnan, Modli, Pavel, Lexi, and Chitra, well done to you guys. We also want to say to Sentan Andasabha, you're going to see the Facebook as well. It's this week Saturday from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. So the Ram Bhajan is going to be hosted at the Transvaal Sabha as well. So you will also see, we also commend another organization that promotes Telugu, which is Praveen Aldari in his organization called Prerana. Also, to say to the South African Telugu community, we're also promoting the work of the Telugu community in the country as well. So all in all, as at Transvaal Sabha, we are now promoting the youth to take over. Now we find many members of the Transvaal Sabha are now old. They're old. They have set up the processes. They set up this beautiful temple, which is out for hire. It's non-veg, and it's there for funerals for our community, for all the functions. It's also got a small temple as well, a shrine. So we ask the community at large, please support the organization, support the structures that are built. It's there for everyone. And I also ask other organizations, you want to use the premises, you're most welcome. That's Seva from the organization as well. So when I say, Yashika, you are presenting a phenomenal program.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you so much. It's all credit goes to our Kirit Bhattacharya ji, who's been an inspiration in the community, and a whole lot of young people that have come together to make this day happen. I am deeply honored. It is such, and I'm so humbled to have with me today my sisters and brothers in the community that have shared so much of love by taking time out to talk to us about the various facets of Seva today. And I would really like to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. Now, there's two videos that we didn't play, and the one is from the Sri Satya Sai Seva organization, and the other one is on the Ram Bhajan. So that will be played after this. But I'd like to say thank you to everyone for sending us your information, for sending us your photographs, and for also ensuring that we learn and live with consciousness, and that this contribution from the Hindu and Indian community must go a long way to help the next generation in our country. Hari Om. Thank you very much. We'll play out now with the two videos. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Krishna. We have the Satya Sai video and the video by the Andhra Sabha. So enjoy, everyone, and thank you again.
Where did I put off?
Om Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dear Lord, Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Dear devotees, 2020 will forever be remembered as the year the world came to a standstill. Never before has this happened. Economies all over the world are struggling. People are dying in huge numbers. And the number one thought for everybody is, how will I get food to survive without an income? This is of greater concern than even getting the virus. Even people in the richest countries are unashamedly queuing up for food. Brothers and sisters, Swami has been preparing us for this catastrophe since many decades. As Sai devotees, we immediately felt the call and the need to serve. Despite all forms of seva being put on hold, the concern for our fellow citizens was so strong that devotees continued to ask us to allow them to serve. When the instructions came that we could go out and serve, by implementing the COVID rules put into place, our devotees immediately came forth. A national account was set up for love offerings to come through, and you immediately responded. We distributed 6,594 hampers, 15,000 masks. Other items included in the distribution were water and hygiene packs. We wish to place on record our sincere thanks and appreciation to all devotees who rallied around through difficult circumstances to ensure that this seva was executed. Regions are now continuing to serve in whatever way they can, as this pandemic is far from over. We will not be able to reach everyone, but Swami will direct us where he needs us. We pray Swami keeps us safe and our families as well. Jai Sai Ram.
And we have the Ram Bhajan video, so that will come up towards the end of the program. Thank you very much.
Shri Rama Raghurama Sri Mahagunadhama Shatrukoti Virama Jagadabhirama Lokapalana Rama Lokanayaka Rama Charutaraka Nama Sangrama Bhima Dandambo Dandambo Dasamana Salola Vandanamo Vandanamo Parapunya Shila
There was another video, but it showed the particular dance of the Ram Bhajan around the Kalpavriksha. It is an important a piece of culture that comes from the Andhra community. So unfortunately, I think there might be a little problem with the video. We'd have to end in any event, and we'd like to maybe share that video on the Facebook platform as well as the YouTube platform. So when you watch the recording of the program, you'll find the right one. Basically, it's a group of dancers that will pay homage to the divine principle of Vishnu for sustenance. And it's such an important one that it's come through our history of 160 years to South Africa as well. So we thank everyone, and including the Andhra Mahasabha, the Transvaal Andhra Sabha, for joining us, as well as all wonderful guests that we've had today. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you again. And Jai Sai Ram. Namaste.